What's in the box? What's in the box? For those of you that have not seen this film before, I want to let you know something. You're missing out on something that is iconic and integral in thriller cinema. It's been around for about 25 years now, the film, and it's not for everybody. A lot of people are not into the grotesque and into the gruesome nature of this film. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman star, two of my favorites, and have wonderful chemistry together. But really what drives this film is director David Fincher's direction. A little bio about David Fincher. I've always been heavily influenced by him. He grew up in California at the age of 6 years old with his family across the street, 2 houses down, actually I believe it was, if not across the street, from director George Lucas of Star Wars. Ever since then, it's easy to pretty much assume that he was always exposed to Hollywood cinema, motion pictures, and the film industry as a whole. He's one of my favorite directors to this day, and I wish, especially after seeing 6 or 7 years ago, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson, a wonderful thriller and a wonderful mystery, as a novel and as a film, I just knew that David Fincher was a master, and that he has commonalities and tropes within each one of his films that, although they are a lot of the time very different in essence, have a lot of the same motifs and messages at the end of the day. He questions a lot regarding humanity, and he reaches it on a level that many directors are not capable of doing, in my opinion. He is one of the few directors that didn't go to school, didn't have to go to college, or didn't have to go into drama as a youth. He actually independently went through the protocol and the procedure of just doing anything he could possible to either grab a mic, help actors on a set with their coffee, attend to their needs, act as somebody that would just work behind a desk and screenwrite once he actually had the capability of doing something like that. But it was safe to say that if you read his biography, it was a struggle for him in the movie business. So to see that he's such a profound visionary now is spectacular. What's really interesting about him is that his direction is so perplexed. If you see the man on the internet, or you watch his biography, or you see him in a video, you notice that he seems very quiet. He's very reserved. He's definitely not an extrovert compared to a lot of other directors, such as more so like Tarantino, Michael Moore. Even though he does documentaries, a lot of these directors are outlandish and very vocal about their thoughts in a positive way. And then there are those directors that are very monotone and very reserved, and they focus and they execute their emotions and their message through their imagery and through their direction. Se7en, a film about 2 detectives that embark on a grisly journey in order to find out what the motives are of a serial killer that is so sadistic that he kills based on the 7 deadly sins, is a film that is riddled with such grit that it's not even about Pitt or Morgan Freeman, and their popularity almost seems to be they as idols almost seem to dissipate in comparison to the massive scope of what is at stake in this film. It is not a film for the faint of heart, for somebody that has a light stomach. It is not a film for people that are not open to such gruesome subject matter. It's very, very much like noir. It pays homage to noir to the point that it's almost like of the black and white era, even though it is given almost a tinge of a gray texture. The aura of the film is just so devastating and desolate and sparse that you almost have to feel as if you must watch the film several times, 7 times, no pun intended, in order to really grasp fully what the message is that Fincher is trying to convey. It almost seems that Morgan Freeman and Pitt together become individual, separate, unknown, struggling detectives, realistically, as they are supposed to be in this film. The writing is superb, but it's more so Fincher that controls not only what is said, but what is seen, and what is truly occurring, which much of the time we don't figure out exactly what the message or the motive is that these phenomenal directors are trying to give us or implement in our heads until the very end of the film. So I'm not going to say exactly anything about the significance of what I said earlier with what's in the box. For those of you that have already seen the film, you can't help but, of course, be completely familiar with what I'm referring to. For those of you that have not seen the film, the second half of this video is going to be a spoiler review, the spoiler section. This first half is going to be, as much as possible, the respectable non-spoiler review section. But all I can say about the movie, in the remains of this in this non-spoiler section, is that you know that a director is amazing when they can take great, well-known actors that you see every day, huge celebrities like Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, and utilize them in the best possible way. I mean, the best possible elements were presented, to the point that you don't recognize them. Kevin Spacey is absolutely phenomenal. I still to this day think it's one of his best underrated roles, and just the element of shock and the element of grit and symbolism within this film regarding humanity and what it means to truly be a struggling human being morally, upon so much else, tropes that you think would be cliche but are just so effective and so commemorative of old classic mysteries, that at the same time you also can't help but notice its modernized, nuanced look and feeling towards the grisliness that we really haven't, as viewers, been susceptible to before. And so because of that, because of that, and because of the way that he misleads us as a director, and to this day, in my opinion, Seven is known as one of the biggest plot twists in history, as far as noir, as noir of the 21st century, or not the 21st century, I'm sorry, the 20th century, but right on the cusp of the 21st century. This film is 1995, if I'm not mistaken. And so, when I was young, I had never seen a film like it before in my life, and it just has themes. It has themes, and it unravels truths that, as an adult, you feel totally different about watching it than you would as a child. A film like that cannot be overlooked, and so that is why this film is Trasch, trash, as in absolutely outstanding. I give Seven an A. One of Fincher's best works. Better than The Panic Room. Better than Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, as much as I love and enjoy every single moment of that picture. There's so many other works that he has. But Seven really set the concrete and the groundwork for what attracted people to, which was the genius and the unfolding insanity of a monotone man such as David Fincher. So I'm going to stop meandering on for now. I'm sure you guys are done with me talking into the screen about my crush on David Fincher. I mean, in regards to his work, he has heavily influenced me superbly. And now we're going to talk about the spoiler review of this film. as much as we can. And I'm going to be doing that with my company alongside me, who are going to be here in just a moment. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit, and please feel free to subscribe and check the next video so we can talk a little bit more in depth about uncovering some of those truths about what makes Seven such a real, authentic, gritty, amazing thriller. Thank you.